It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Welcome to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman, and this show is brought to you by emailrevealer.com. That's my website. Also, michiganmushrooms.net, and our newest sponsor, which is Michael LaSala, who's the author of the book, The Rodeo of Doom. If this is the first time you're listening to our show, please take a moment and check out oppermanreport.com and check out our member section. We have a special section on there where you can subscribe to the station and listen to extra shows that we tape during the week that you won't hear live on Friday nights or live during the week, replayed during the week. This is exclusive content available only to members, and that's at oppermanreport.com. We got a really big show today, a very special show, and it's going to be a gut-wrenching show, okay? We have a man named Charles Strange. And he's a cool guy. He's a regular guy from Philly. You'll get to meet him in a second. And he's the father of Michael Strange, and he's the co-founder of the Michael Strange Foundation. Now, Michael Strange, we'll be telling you in a minute, he was one of the SEAL team members who went in on that raid to capture and kill Osama bin Laden. And then, I think it was like 90 days later, he was in a helicopter crash. His helicopter was attacked and crashed, and since then there's more questions than answers of what went on, and the government seems to be covering up and not giving this family a fair shake. And so we have Charles Strange on the phone now. Charles, are you there?
Yes.
Charles,
thank you for having me on, Ed.
You know what, man? Thank you so much for coming on, because I know I can imagine what you're going through. I got a 15-year-old kid myself. I can imagine what you're going through. Tell us first, Charles, about yourself. Who is Charles Strange?
Charles Strange is from Philadelphia, born and raised. I grew up right across from the pet store. The Rocky movie, Adrian, she worked in the pet store.
Okay.
Under the train, you see them guys standing in front of the bar there, Rocky, that was us at our bar. Philadelphia, baby. I worked at Tasty Cake. Nobody bakes a cake like Tasty Cake, right? Philadelphia. Ran the boiler room and ammonia systems. I was married at a young age. Had 3 beautiful children, and Catholic school. I'm a regular guy, just like you said, blue collar, hard worker. Union construction worker now here in Philadelphia, and I also do a little work at the casino. I was working at the new Philadelphia casino with mini Bach and blackjack. So right now, I lost my son 53 months ago in Afghanistan in a Chinook helicopter from 1960. Taliban hit it with an RPG, they said. There was 30 of our guys and 8 Afghans, and it was the biggest loss of life in the Iraq and Afghan war, 30 guys. And it was the biggest loss of life in the history of America, 22 men from Dev Group. And that loss took a piece of my heart. Where my son at, it's every day. It don't matter if you have 30 kids. People are like, hey, you got more kids? Yeah, it don't matter. I buried my father, I buried my cousin, I buried good friends, you bury a child. It's not even in the same circle. And that's how we started the Michael Strange Foundation.
Well, Charles, how old are you?
I'm 52.
52. I'm 53.
Yes.
So you had kids young then, because how old would your son be today, Michael?
29.
29 years old. So you had kids young. Okay, I waited a little longer.
Yes.
But if people want to know Michael Strange, they just got to think of the movie Rocky. And you're one of those guys from the movie Rocky that was hanging out there in Philly around that time, right? Because you're about the same age as Rocky, too, right?
Yep. Me and Michael ran the Art Museum steps before he went in the Navy.
Oh, very cool. Now, how
he ran them a few times. I only did it once.
How old was Michael when he enlisted in the Navy?
Well, his senior year in high school, he said, "I'm going to join the military, Dad. I'm going to join the Navy." I said, "No, you're not. There's a war going on." And he turned 18 in June of '04, and he joined. And he said, "Dad, I joined." I said, "Okay."
So you tried to talk him out.
I didn't want to back out do the 4 years. He was going to get the college money, see what it was like, and he sort of got sucked into some things. He would do it again. I'm not saying that. He loved. He got in very, very deep. My son, he was a cryptologist. He was a code breaker. He could do things, you see on movies, and you couldn't imagine. He could get into that. And they put him. He was with SEAL Team 2 in Hawaii. And then they put him with SEAL Team 6, the most elite team in the world, the last 4 years.
But initially you tried to talk him out of going into the Navy?
Oh, yeah. Don't go in the... Yeah, there was a war going on.
Right.
You ain't going in there. Were you kidding? And
now, he must have been, really physically fit guy, right?
He worked at a bar and he went to the gym and he chased girls. He was like a wiry guy. He was lean. He never, even with SEAL Team, when you get in with them guys, they have, people tell you what to eat, and the gyms are there and all that. Yeah, he was 2% body fat the last few years. He was a bad ass, yes.
Right. Oh, by the way, we got to watch our language, okay? Because we don't want to limit our audience. I heard you cursing. I was watching all your videos, your press conferences today, and I heard you cursing up a storm or one of them up there. I forgot to warn you. Now, how did he get into cryptology? He had a knack for that as a kid, or he went to some kind of special training? Or what was the deal with that?
Well, he graduated boot camp out in Chicago to Great Lakes. I went out and seen him graduate. Then they sent him to Florida, to Pensacola, Florida, to take this test. And they picked cryptology. And he went through this cryptology course. I think it was like a 3-month thing. And in cryptology, there's no windows in the classroom and no chalkboard and no notes, no paper book. You don't take notes or nothing. For cryptology, everything's in your mind.
Okay.
And he finished first in his class at everybody, and the kid next to him had a bachelor's degree from New York University. And the kid said to him, he said, "What college did you go to?" He said, "I didn't go to college." And so he was a natural. He was gifted with decoding things and some other things, and he just took off from there. And from there, they sent him to Hawaii.
Maybe they got a secret ingredient in those tasty cakes, right?
Right. He always did good in school. He didn't bring books home, but he's like, "Dad, I got straight A's." I said, "You don't bring no books home? I'm paying $7,000 a year."
So then, okay, now he's in there. He's doing good. You must have been really proud of him. You must still be proud, of course. But so he comes home one day and he tells you he was involved in the raid on Osama bin Laden. How did that come about?
Well, it's April 2011. He calls me up. He says, "Dad, everything's going to be shut down for 2 weeks." And he never did that before. And I said, "You okay?" He said, "Yeah, I'm okay." I said, "Michael, are you all right?" He said, "Dad, if something happens, you'll hear about it." And then, of course, the raid May 1st, and came home after that. And after that raid, he grabbed me by the bicep 3 times that weekend, and he told me he had a will. He never did that before, Ed.
Okay.
And he also grabbed me by the bicep and said, "You would not believe what's going on in this country."
How old was he then? 25?
Excuse me?
How old was he then when this happened?
25 years old.
25, that's what I thought. Okay. And he was telling you you won't believe what's going on in this country?
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
He wouldn't say nothing else. He kept it very close to the vest.
What do you think he meant?
But there was something going on. He was so deep, Ed. I was in Hawaii with him, right?
Yeah.
And we went to P.F. Chang's, his favorite place to eat, and I'm asking him different things. So he made up a code word like are the Phillies winning? So whenever I was starting to get close to the beehive, he'd say, Dad, is the Phillies winning? That means don't ask me any more questions. So I'm asking him questions at P.F. Chang's, and he said, Dad, you know who's sitting next to us? And I said, a husband and a wife. He goes, that's what you think. That's what you think are sitting next to us. I was like, oh, man, Michael, what are you into here, Michael? When I was staying with him in Virginia, he would wear like a checker shirt out, go out, and he'd come home with a different shirt on. I'd be like, what are you doing? He said, oh, I stopped at the gym. I said, what? You didn't get me. Then, and he grew the beard and all that. He was, they would give him newspapers from New York, Chicago, California, Texas, and he could go through the newspaper and see what terrorists were sending here to our country. How about that, Ed, huh?
What do you mean? He would know that there was terrorist things being planned here in the United States?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you said that...
That's what I'm told. That's what I'm told from very, very reliable sources.
Now you said...
But I know about the newspapers. He told me about that. You could see different things and know where to look.
Like a secret code that was they were sending him signals, or that he was aware of tactics and stuff?
He didn't get into detail, but in certain newspapers from New York, Texas, Chicago, there'll be different things, and he could pick it out.
Okay. And would he warn you and say, "Hey, Dad, don't go to the mall," or something like that, or stay away from this? Don't take a plane flight this week, something like that?
No, he was pretty smart. He'd be like, "What are you doing? Where are you going?" And this is in hindsight too. I didn't really, I didn't know how. I know he was helping the SEAL teams. I knew he was involved. I know he had to buy a house in Virginia. He had to be 15 minutes from the secret base. And I was telling him, get out. That's all. I'm like, this is enough of this, man. You got the money for the college. Come on. But he got embedded into it. It is the brotherhood. I guess when you live next door to the guy that's raising his kids and you work with him, and then you're doing things like they do, killing people and each other's back. It is a brotherhood. It's a love, you know what I mean, for your other man and then for your families here. The things that go on, I can't even imagine. I wasn't in the military. I don't know too much about the military. I mean, I learned a lot since my son died. I learned a lot about a lot of corruption, a lot of things I questioned.
Did it seem like
I've been to court many times, and I haven't gotten any answers. I filed a FOIA act with a lawyer by the name of Larry Klayman. Klayman. He started Judicial Watch. I've been to Washington, me and my wife, like 30 times.
Now, did it seem like your son had money that had more money than he should have had? Did he have like a lot of money?
Yeah. Yeah. How's a 21-year-old kid buy a $300,000 house?
Okay. Now
they gave him, he had to buy a house in Virginia. And I was like, how you buying a house? I bought a house at 22. You know what I mean? I was working 2 jobs. I was like, you got to be kidding. And he was all proud, and they gave him money for re-enlisting, and must have gave him a nice chunk. And
what was his rank and pay grade? Do you know, like his official rank and pay grade?
He was a CTR1. He was a Tier 1 operator. And I don't know about the money. I never asked him about the money. The house was like a $250,000 house. But to be buying that like at 21, he just turned 22 because he had the 4 years in. And then he didn't want to join, but the Navy SEALs were picking him up at his house in Hawaii. And they would do a workout with him, and they wanted him to, be on the team and the things he could do. He could, if there was 12 antennas on top of a roof, Ed, in Iraq or Afghanistan, he could find out in a matter of minutes which signal the antenna was coming out and find out like which was the word for the day, their password for the Taliban, Al Qaeda, and all that stuff.
So he had special knowledge of electronic equipment, eavesdropping equipment, that kind of stuff as well, besides just breaking the code through his mind.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now, you said before that he was one of the guys that was part of the raid, and I think you mentioned to me off the air that he was, or maybe I heard it on YouTube, that he was the third man in on the raid?
Yeah, that's what I heard. I don't know. I know he was there. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if it was bin Laden, it was bin Laden, it wasn't bin Laden. Yes, I do hear from Rob O'Neill, the redhead kid. No, I never talked to him. Emails, a little bit about Michael and a story here, a story there. I am going to meet him. He's going to come to one of our weekends with the parents. I've heard everything,
Now, isn't there some kind of controversy on who actually took the kill shot and who was in part of this raid? And some guys say they were, and some guys question maybe they weren't there. Different guys claim they were there doing it.
Yeah, there's a couple things going on. I know Rob's the one that took the shot. Well, that's what he says. And so, and the other guy wrote the book No Easy Day, but he did say he did shoot him. The guy that wrote that book, the kid.
Have you met both of these guys or just one?
No, just Rob.
Okay.
I've met quite a few Navy SEALs. Showing the respects, stopped over, stayed over, come up for a function. Different guys, and
so you think you got a good idea of what went on that day at the raid?
Excuse me?
From talking to all these guys, you think you have a good idea of what happened there, that your son was part of this raid?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Now,
absolutely.
Do any of the people you talk to, because there's a lot of people have questions about that raid, because there was a chopper that was lost, and then they had to put like 3 times as many guys on one chopper to get out of there, plus bin Laden, plus his wives, plus computers. And there's a lot of suspicion about the facts of that. Do you have any opinion on that?
No. My opinion, God, I know the other guy that there's a guy named Din Muhammad. Yeah. Looks exactly like bin Laden. He happens to have a bad left eye where bin Laden got shot. You know what I mean? And the guy, Rob O'Neill, I never talked to him in person. I've gotten emails. I might have talked to him on the phone for a minute and just, gave his condolences and all that. But I got emails. But, I don't know. I did watch Rob O'Neill on some show. He was talking, and then what got me was the guy asked him, "Did you shoot bin Laden?" And he hesitates, and he goes, "Well, yeah, I guess."
Oh, really?
Did you ever see it? It's on Fox News. His interview.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, what's your gut instinct, man? You think that do you believe the official story that we went there, we shot bin Laden, we took his wives, and then we cremated his body, and then we did a burial at sea, or almost crazy story? What's your gut instinct on it?
No, I don't think. And I think that's what Michael was telling me, to tell you the truth. And I also think Michael, when he said that, you wouldn't believe, after the bin Laden, you wouldn't believe what's going on in the country. I think it had something to do with that. I think it also had a lot to do with all the illegal stuff that's going on in Washington. All the heroin that's coming here, killing all these people, and it's killing these kids like crazy, the heroin.
Right.
And the money that was going to Karzai, skids of money, and I know now. I've met people that took the skids off. They couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. I really believe Michael and some of them guys were going to talk. The ones that got killed 93 days after the bin Laden raid. I know my son. For him after that bin Laden raid to act the way that he acted and look at me the way he looked at me and say,
Okay. So
Catholic school, 12 years, them priests and them nuns beating, you're going to go to hell if you don't tell the truth. I think that old Catholic school stuff might have been rubbing off, to see all this.
So you don't believe the official bin Laden story. And do you think that bin Laden might still be alive and didn't die in that raid? What do you think?
I think it's bacon pizza in Chicago.
Okay. And you think that part of the reason behind this is because that Afghanistan is the major grower of poppy, which is what they make heroin out of, and that the poppy production out there has increased after our occupation of Afghanistan rather than been reduced. You would think with all these soldiers there that we could stamp out this growing of this poppy crop. So am I on the right track there?
100%, Ed. 100%.
Now you know that from talking to your son, or after the tragic death of your son from talking to these other people who are in the know?
A little of both, and actually, Ed, I had a guy come over here, 2 tours of Afghanistan, one tour in Iraq, and he had a video. He'd go right to prison if he ever showed it. But, man, it's, the poppy fields and the things that he told me, the poor kid stays shot out. The kid shot out. You couldn't pop popcorn near this kid, man. Right. Some of the things, it's sad and it's wrong. And these kids know they join the service, to get to college, to defend the country, the Constitution. So none of this stuff with 9/11 happens. Like look at Pat Tillman. I talked to Pat Tillman's dad. My wife talked to Pat Tillman's dad actually. Okay. And, everything that went on with that poor kid. He had a journal. The dad never got the journal back. I talked to Stan Goff, who helped Mrs. Tillman. And they helped, like I said, somebody in their family had terminal cancer. They couldn't really jump on board with us. But, you mentioned Pat Tillman and them 4 stars and them 3-star admirals and generals. You see how bad they get. Oh, my God. Right. Like, not that I care. I'd like to, he said don't curse, but, so.
Okay. And what about you hear these stories, right, about how these Afghan warlords and these people that we're dealing with over there, about how they're molesting little boys and stuff. Have you ever heard any of those kind of stories from your son or from the people you're dealing with now?
Oh, absolutely.
What do you know about that?
All kinds of horrible stories. Did you ever hear of Greg Buckley?
I'm not sure. I was supposed to interview one of the attorneys who's representing this guy recently, but we kept missing connections with each other. So I don't know the Craig Buckley. Give me a rundown. What do you got?
Him and his son, his son was lifting weights in Afghanistan, him and another kid, they're from New York.
Right.
Greg Buckley. And the T-boy came in, the T-boy told his son 3 days before he was ready to leave, the T-boy said, oh, you're supposed to leave, huh? And da-da-da-da-da, and the T-boy was one of them sex toys for the Afghans, and his son was lifting weights and came in and, they lied. His dad's a personal friend of mine, came to our weekend, to try to help each other and also a few other things. But, you talking about injustice. He killed 2 Marines, right, the T-boy?
Right.
And you know what he got sentenced to?
I think nothing, right? Like 6 months or something?
7 years, because they said he was under 18. Okay.
Yeah. I was supposed to. The father. I was supposed to talk to his attorney. I was supposed to interview him. But if you can help me get in touch with these people, we'll get them on the air. This guy's father and Pat Tillman's dad. I'll interview all of them.
I'll send you over an email with their phone numbers and the emails.
Thank you. So
yes, sir.
It sounds like now you weren't when you started. Now you're exposed to a lot of crazy stuff: heroin smuggling, child molestation. Political assassinations, and not to mention what they did to your own kid. Now, this must have changed your life and turned your life whole upside down.
Yes, it did.
Now, were you like a patriotic guy before this, and like you thought your government could do no wrong, or were you kind of more like a street guy that knew about Watergate and said, "Hey, it was a corrupt cesspool to begin with"?
I was actually, I was the T-ball guy with the kids out in the street with the hockey stick. Right. Get everybody a water ice. All right, let's go sledding. Joey, knock it off. Michael, be nice to him. Go help that lady with her bag. Stop playing football. Help Mr. McHugh across the street cut his grass. Let's go. You know what I mean? And I believe in our country, our freedoms, and God bless America, and you took your hat off and you see somebody that wore a uniform, hey, you thanked them. And that was years ago. That was just natty. Hey, thank you, sir. And wow, it's just my son's been killed, and what happened, Ed, was my son got killed, and October 2011, they took us down to Dam Neck, Virginia. This guy named General Jeffrey Colt. If you could look him up and do some research on him, he's the one that did the investigation over in Afghanistan, and we're in a movie theater down in Dam Neck, Virginia, and all the big wigs are there, and all the parents, and he has 2 big movie screens, and he's telling us about what happened, and I raised my hand, I said, sir, can I have an after-action report? And he looks at me, and he says, okay, it will be in the book, sir. He said something else. I asked him about the black box, which really is orange, and he put his hands up, and he said, it got washed away by a flash flood. If you Google, there was no rain, no flash flood. There could have been, I don't know what, there was no black box. There's no black boxes in the Chinook, but they looked for it for 2 days. There's a recording device under the pilot's seat instead of a black box. Because all of a sudden they said there was no black box. There's so many lies, Ed. There's so many lies. So anyway, all the families are leaving, and they gave us this pamphlet, this binder, and with the book with all the answers. And a couple of days later, after I got home, I opened it up, and you don't look at it right away. You're out of your mind, and there's no ink. There's no toner in the book.
What do you mean?
And you can't read it, Ed. You open it up, you can't read it. There's nothing in it. It's. So I called up Admiral Sean Pybus, Commander-in-Chief of CENTCOM, and he said, I had a lot of complaints about that, Charles. And he said, I said, okay, send me another one. He said, we can't. We burned it. I said, you burned it? Yep. It's gone. But in that brochure, there was a disc. So the disc you put in, and I'll tell you more about that when my wife should be here in a few minutes. I'll let her take over. But my wife figured out how to download the disc, and I hope you don't mind, Ed. I sort of bounced around a little bit, but
no, you're doing great.
She'll tell you what she did with the disc to get 1,364 pages.
Now, you're doing great. So you're saying that the copy that they gave you in the binder, that the toner was so empty and so weak that the printing in it was like faint. You could hardly see it.
Yep, he couldn't see it.
Yeah, and I'm sure that was like an accident. Okay, let's take a commercial break here. Okay, it's a 6-minute long commercial break. We're with Charles Strange, and he's the co-founder of the MichaelStrangeFoundation.org. Okay, and as you can hear, he's a grieving father, and has had his whole life turned upside down after his death of his son, the hero Michael Strange. We'll be right back after these messages with more of this. And now a word from our sponsors. Pacific West Bamboo, your premier source for sustainable building material. They provide construction-grade and craft-grade bamboo material for all your indoor, outdoor, and gardening needs. Contact them for event planning and display building as well. 503-839-8126. Or you go to their new website, pacificwestbamboo.com. Or you can contact them on Facebook at Pacific West Bamboo. That's 503-839-8126. Amanda from Pacific West Bamboo was our first sponsor. She's been so good to us, so please support her in return. I want to make everybody aware of our new members section at www.oppermanreport.com. You can go there and sign up for a monthly, quarterly, or yearly subscription. You can even purchase episodes one by one. You get full access to brand new original content, new guests, new uncensored interviews, my own investigations and reports, and we're going to be adding sections with documents, images, police reports, either provided by myself or by my guests, or for my own investigations, my own reports. So you can go to oppermanreport.com and you can sign up there tonight. You can start listening tonight. Strawman. I want to mention Strawman. Strawman is a band out of Toronto, Canada. They're good friends of the Opperman Report. They're a trio of guys who share the same mindset most of us here do, and they put that energy into their words and music. So check them out at strawmanmusic.com and drop them a line to let them know that you heard them here on the Opperman Report. We'll be doing an interview with Sean Duffy soon. You can get an autographed copy of my book, How to Succeed as a Private Investigator, by visiting my PI website, emailrevealer.com. We also offer a computer and cell phone forensics. We can recover deleted text messages to uncover infidelity. We offer asset searches, locates, email tracing, background reports, and we can even trace your spouse's email address back to internet dating websites to catch them cheating online. You can reach us at 800-572-9762, or you can email me at emailrevealer@aol.com. New World Mexican Women. Everyone loves the New World Mexican Women, and their line of fine, handcrafted, authentic Mexican jewelry of stone mosaic and abalone stone inlay. In their first book, titled New World Mexican Women, available on lulu.com, they teach you how to make this jewelry, and they have a collection of love letters to their men from their hometown that have immigrated to the United States to find work. They have also published a new book entitled Azuquina to the Rodeo. It's about a young girl that falls in love with a rodeo bull rider, and she runs away with him without telling her family. You can find the New World Mexican Women by Googling New World Mexican Women. And you can ask them about their deals on wholesaling their fine jewelry and all of the other projects that they have going on. If you'd like to have your business or website advertised here and promoted all over the world on dozens of stations every day, give us a call at 800-572-9762 or email oppermanreport@gmail.com. And now back to our show. Well, not so soon. First, we're going to talk about MichiganMushrooms.net. They offer the highest quality chaga chunks available anywhere, picked fresh from healthy live trees in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, sun-dried and quickly shipped to you. They're very proud of their long-standing reputation as trusted farmers and collectors of wild, gourmet, and medicinal mushrooms. Customer service and offering high-quality products is very important to them. And they have a strict grading system that begins in the woods, and they would rather pass up a chunk that looks bad instead of passing it off to you, the customer. Additionally, they are recognized by the state of Michigan as mushroom experts. They are certified by the Department of Agriculture to sell 20 different species of mushrooms, and proof of this certification is available upon request. That is MichiganMushrooms.net or on Facebook, Michigan Mushrooms LLC. Got a brand new sponsor, The Rodeo of Doom by Miguel La Sala. The year is 2384, and Henry Fields is a down-on-his-luck adjunct professor in the architecture department at Andreas Tangen University in Los Angeles. But he has one thing going for him that others don't. He has enough of the coveted EP14 to live to be 200 if he wants to. Not that hard. When he saves a woman for certain death with a few drops of the EP14, a corrupt government agency tries to blackmail him into selling off his supply. Just when it seems like it might be a good idea, all hell breaks loose. The Rodeo of Doom was written by Miguel La Sala and edited by Margaret A. Harrell, the author of Keep This Quiet, memoir series. Now, she was also the copy-edited Hunter S. Thompson's breakthrough book, Hell's Angels. According to Harrell, the Rodeo of Doom will grip you and pull you into the wild ride of a different reality. This is a consciously fast-paced journey into the future. Author Miguel La Sala reveals his craft by intricately weaving in fine details for his reader and keeps you anxiously anticipating what will happen next. Do not wait to read this book. There will surely be more to come from this author. The Rodeo of Doom is available on Amazon.com, and there's a link to the Rodeo of Doom in the Opperman Report bookstore. Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. Today we're here with Charles Strange. He's the father of Michael Strange. He's also the co-founder of MichaelStrangeFoundation.org. And this is the story of Michael Strange was part of the SEAL Team 6 raid on the Osama bin Laden compound. What we're hearing from Mr. Strange here is that we're not getting the true story from there. The official story is not what he believes. And now, Mr. Strange, I'd like to get into the story of Extortion 17. What was that mission that day, and what is the official story about how the mission went wrong?
Well, they started off with Extortion 17, August 6, 2011. 30 guys got killed by RPG shot by the Taliban. They said it hit the rotary, and it blew up the Chinook helicopter. The story was it was an IRF, Immediate Reaction Force. So they sent out SEAL Team 6 and 8 other guys. So there was 30, plus the dog. I don't want to forget the dog, Bart, the warrior dog. John Dugan Barrow is the dog handler. He died too. My buddy, my son Michael's friend. Mm. And there was 8 Afghans on the helicopter. Right before it was ready to take off, seven of the Afghans got off, and 7 different ones got on. So they don't know the names of the Afghans that got on the helicopter. Their names weren't on the manifest. We found that out in Dover. They actually had to call the Afghan people up and say they had the wrong people. And it's also in the 1,364 pages where Gold asked the one guy about the manifest, and he said, we don't have all the names.
What was the goal of these Afghans to begin with? Why were they on the plane to begin with? Why were they on the helicopter?
Interpreters.
Okay.
I don't know why you need 8 of them. I don't know. Oh, they're going out for a rescue mission for the Rangers. The Rangers were pinned down. That was how they got them all in the helicopter.
Okay.
37 Rangers were pinned down by the Taliban. And then that was on all the news stations all around the world. And 4 days later, the Rangers were in no trouble. They actually captured 8 Taliban, and they said they were after Qari Tahir, who was a high-level mark. And also I have a couple of names of the other Talibans. It's all in the 1,300 pages. But Qari Tahir just happened to move to a different village that night, because he knew they were coming, or I guess he just decided to leave. But in the paperwork, him and his Taliban buddies knew to move to another village because the raid was coming. Coincidence? That's one. Here, I'm going to keep telling you. Here you go. Coincidence. They put everybody in that helicopter because there was another helicopter behind them, Extortion 16, that was empty. So I don't know why you put everybody in one helicopter and you leave the other one empty except for the guys flying. I don't understand that, especially being from Philadelphia. You don't walk down a dark alley, you know what I mean, by yourself.
Right.
So they put all the eggs in one basket, right? Then, while they're flying in there, there was guys on top of a building. There was 3 buildings. It was pitch dark, but they seen a few guys on top of this one building with like a little tower. So they called up to see who it was, and they said the Afghan administration happened to say they were hanging crops at 2 o'clock in the morning. So I don't know who hangs crops at 2 o'clock in the morning. But in our 1,364 pages, Ed, it says that there was 8 to 10 guys moving around inside the building, in and out. And there was 7 IEDs in 600 meters around the buildings.
What is an
And
IEV?
it also says they were hoping the Americans sent more people in.
What's an IEV?
So they would kill more.
What is an IEV?
One of them bombs, they dig under the dirt and they explosives.
Okay.
And then as they're flying in, and then there was probably about 40 to 50 Taliban under the trees. They had night vision goggles, motorcycles, cell phones, RPGs, man pads, AK-47s. And we asked, when General Colt was telling us about these guys under the trees, why didn't the drone take them out? And Admiral Horowitz stood up and said, to win the hearts and minds, one of them people could have been a farmer. And as they were coming in, they told us, General Colt said, that a rocket, RPG rocket, 200 yards in the pitch black, hit the helicopter and killed all the guys.
Now, this Chinook helicopter was like from the 1960s or something like that?
Yes, 1960, refurbished in 1985. After Colt got done, I wanted to see some of the videos he had again downstairs, and I asked to see it again. And two Navy JAGs came up to me because I was saying, well, who the hell puts anybody in a Chinook helicopter?
Right.
You got to be kidding me, from Vietnam? Not even the poor, whoever, does the cooking or the cleaning for the military shouldn't be in a damn Chinook helicopter, Ed. You know what I'm saying? It's 2016. Nobody in a war, and they put them in the Tianjin Valley. They knew it was the Taliban stronghold. The Taliban were bragging a half hour after they killed my son. We just killed SEAL Team 6. How did they know? How did they know it was SEAL Team 6? How did they have so many guys sitting there waiting? Who made the call to bring them in? I never got an answer. I never got an answer on who made the call. But I do know one thing, Ed. August 6, 2011, David Petraeus left 10 days later.
Oh, really?
Admiral McRaven, he left. Admiral Mullen, he left. Sean Pivus got transferred. 12 different high 3- and 4-star admirals and generals left that month, Ed. What's going on, Ed? Where's the paperwork on that, Ed? Where the hell did these guys go? Right? Something's wrong. Oh, you know what they told me, Ed?
What?
Oh, that was planned a year ago. That was planned a year ago for everybody to leave after my son gets killed? Let me see the paperwork. This is baloney, man.
Yeah. Now, what do you think? Do you think that they were tipped off, like the enemy tipped them off, or do you think this was a setup within our government?
Somebody on our side had to know, Ed.
Okay.
Without a doubt, somebody got paid a lot of money to kill all them guys. They were either afraid them guys were going to talk about all the money, all the heroin coming here, all the corruption, the oil, so much. I mean, something was, and somebody else, I'm sure, set it up, because they never even told me who made the call. They also told me that the helicopter was a ball of fire, and that, Michael was burned to death, that he was burnt. And 4 months after that, in December 2012, I called up Dover, where all the bodies come in, and I asked for a copy of the autopsy report. And a whistleblower sent me the autopsy, and it came with a disc, and my wife's looking at the disc, and she's Michael's stepmom. She didn't want me to look at the disc because, he's burnt to death. And I'm looking at the papers, no broken bones, no nothing. I'm like, what? She stands up. I said, pretty bad. It's bad, huh? Really bad? She goes, no. I'm like, no. And there's a picture of my son. He wasn't burned at all, Ed. Nothing. You could see the hair on his arms. Really? Oh, yeah. He was not burnt at all. Here he jumped out. The helicopter was only 50 feet in the air. Here, 8 of them jumped out.
Yeah, you know what? Let me tell you something. My ex-partner is NYPD Harbor Aviation, and he jumps out of helicopters. They jump out of helicopters, and they swim, and they rescue people who are drowning in the East River in Manhattan, right, in New York City. Now, I used to say to him, I said, aren't you afraid of those things crashing? He goes, no, when helicopters crash, people walk away all the time because they don't crash really hard, you know? People survive helicopter crashes. There's quite a few of them, by the way, even at the helipad in Manhattan over there. They make these really hard landings, you know, and they damage the helicopter. Back to the fact that they're driving around, that they're flying around in this helicopter from 1965. You would think, because we hear there's no shortage of the arms industry building helicopters. Where are those helicopters going? The new ones. They're building them every week, right?
You got that right, Ed. Yeah.
We're paying for
anything you can do to help me, Ed. I greatly appreciate it, man. I'm gonna send you my email to Larry Clayman too. You know, you want to shoot any questions, we'll open the books for you. You know what I mean? You want to discuss a couple of things with him. His chief of staff is Dina James. She's read the 1,364 pages, as many as I have. She's been to court with us over a dozen times, trying to get the FOIA Act, trying to get information, trying to get a hearing, trying to get somebody to stand up, being accountable. You know, I don't want to. You know what General Cole told us? He told us it was a lucky shot. And he said lucky shot in front of all the parents.
Right.
And all our sons are dead.
I definitely want
to... You know what I did, right, Ed? I stood up. I started saying a few words, and then they made me sit down. I said, you were lucky would have been if they missed, right? You know what I mean? If it was even that.
Yeah, that's just a thoughtless thing to say. Now you met with President Barack Obama. Tell us how that went.
August 2011, all the bodies are coming in. Dover. And we're in a hangar, and they had ice tea and drinks out there. All the parents are there, and it's still hard to say. You know, your son's coming home, and Barack Hussein Obama put his hands on my shoulders, and he said, "Michael changed the way America lives." And I grabbed the president by the shoulders. I said, I don't need to know about my son. I need to know what happened. And I started shaking, and the Secret Service guys grabbed me. And I was doubled over. I was crying, and I had snaps coming out. And the president came up, and he went to give me another hug, and I had stuff coming all out, and I wiped my nose on his shoulder, and I whispered in his ear. I said, we're going to have a congressional inquiry on this, Mr. President? And he whispered in my ear, Ed.
Yeah.
And when I say to you, Ed, his lips were touching my ear, and he said, Mr. Strange, we're going to look into this very, very, very deep. He said very, very, very deep.
Okay.
And I just looked at him, and he gave me a pat on the shoulder, and he walked away. And, 10 minutes later, Leon Panetta comes up to me, and he says, Mr. Strange, I'm going to ask the same questions you want to ask. And I just lost it, Ed. I said, you're Secretary of Defense. Labor, I'm construction worker, I'm on blackjack. You're going to ask the same questions as me. You're the Secretary of Defense. And I went crazy. And a couple of the other dads started saying things, and then the Secret Service guys had a bottle of water, and they took me outside with a cigarette, and so I calmed down. And then the plane came with all the bodies. Ed, you want to talk about sad, man? We were dropping, dude. Your knees just buckle when you see the caskets. It's like, oh my God, man. It's so painful, man. It's so painful.
Let me ask you this. When Obama was hugging you and whispering in your ear, do you think he was sincere? Do you think it was an act? Do you think he's out of the loop? Where do you place him in all this? Do you think he knows what's going on? Or he's a empty suit?
I think it was all, we're going to do something. I'll look into it. Yeah, I'll look into it. You know what I mean? One of them things. And, it was, we'll take care of it. You know what I mean? they tapped my phone and went in my computer. My wife's going to tell you about that, but they also followed me.
Right.
Hey, they followed me like 10 months ago, dude, with a white truck, New Jersey license plates, a beard, and a baseball cap. First time I was like, nah, I'm crazy. Second time I was like, nah. Third time I said, oh my God, this guy's following me. You know what I mean? You know, and we tried to get his license plate and all that, and he took off about 80 miles an hour. And I had people with me so they don't think I'm crazy, because I was telling my wife and my friends, I said, I think somebody's found me, you know, and sure enough. So,
well, what do you think?
You heard what kind of guy I am, Ed. You know what I mean? I've never been arrested.
But Charles, what do you think instigated that? What made you get on their radar to the point that now they're following you around?
Well, I believe it's the 1,364 pages. Right. I believe that. My 14-minute, we had a press conference in Washington, D.C. I got a bunch of the parents together. I had like 10 parents. I had Admiral Ace Lyons. I had General Boykin, General Valet. I had Alan West. I had Navy SEAL Ben Smith. And I spoke from the heart, you know what I mean? And when that first went up, we had a million hits. It was just put up in December 10th by some guy in New York named John M. And it's over 320,000 hits in like 22 days. So they kept Extortion 17. Please Google Extortion 17. And you're gonna say, hey, how come 30 of our guys our best guys for our defense are going in a helicopter. Most Americans now, if you say something, they go, yeah, what happened there? You know, people ask, and then they feel sorry for you. But, it's the old saying, if it ain't happening to you, it ain't happening. America's getting more... with California, what just happened in Port California with the 14 people. Here in Philadelphia, the guy just broke out and shot a poor cop in the name of ISIS the other day. 3 times he shot the poor cop, and now they're finding out that there's quite a few guys from ISIS here living in Philadelphia. It goes on. So now America's starting to wake up just a little, and I don't know.
Well, the thing is, a lot of people think that ISIS and Al-Qaeda are sort of like run by the CIA. And you know what I'm talking about? And they're like our own little mercenaries, and the whole thing's kind of like staged, in order to create chaos in the Middle East. And would it kind of fit in with this story if we're protecting Osama bin Laden and this raid wasn't really to kill him but to kind of get him out of there? And that if the ISIS guys or the Al-Qaeda guys were tipped off or they set up your son, you know what I'm saying? And the cover-up comes from the top. If everything was legit, they would want to go after these guys.
Absolutely, Ed. Absolutely. But, Ed, let me tell you something. You say that 10 years ago, you're out of your mind. What kind of drugs you on? Yeah. Now you say that to people... And, because you know what happened to that poor reporter from the Rolling Stones, and you know what happened to that reporter from L.A., Don't Cross the Line, or whatever that was called. That poor guy found out about the CIA bringing all the cocaine to California.
Right.
He committed suicide. He shot himself twice in the back of the head.
Yeah, Gary Webb. One of the stations that this show is going to be playing on this week is owned by Chip Tatum, who was one of those CIA agents that was involved in all that, and he was convicted of it, and George Bush gave him a pardon for it. So now he's like a whistleblower on the other side. So the people who listen to this show know what we're talking about. This isn't a surprise to them. Hey.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're going to keep following. If you can help me get in touch with these people, we can get them on the air. A lot of people listen to the show.
Okay.
We can do some more work on this. One thing I wanted to, we're coming to the end of the hour. What do you think? Do you think you can give me more time after the hour, or do you want to just hook me up with your wife?
And my wife's right here. She just walked in, man. She needs 2 minutes. She's going to have to get her glass of iced tea.
Okay, then let me ask you before you go, then, and the wife takes over, because there'll be a 6-minute commercial in between.
Okay.
What does the Michael Strange Foundation do? What are you up to there with that?
Wow, you go to michaelstrangefoundation.org, you'll see workshop video, and you'll see some of the parents that came through. If you could hit Michael Strange Facebook, hit like, please. You'll see the videos of, we've had 3 weekends, 2 of them from Thursday to Sunday. We pay for the hotel, the plane ticket, the food. We bring a grief counselor, and we bring moms, dads, and brothers and sisters if they're over 20. And what we do, Ed, is we ask them to talk about their son and how do you get through the birthday, what do you do on the holiday. And usually people, the first night, we do some music. We have a grief counselor talk about the 5 stages. I get up there and talk. A couple of vets talk, and the parents are like, yeah, nah, maybe, nah. By the end of the weekend, it's God working through. Said the parents are like, can I say one more thing about Joey? He used to do this, and Joey did that, and Michael did this, and it's amazing. We ask them to write 3 or 4 sentences, because something happens when you put it on paper and then you read it. If you want, or you just get up there and talk. And we bring we bring the parents in, and we did one in Malvern, Pennsylvania at a retreat house. We did one in Wildwood, New Jersey at the Bolero. And we just did one in Longmont, Colorado, Boulder, Colorado. We had about 36 parents there. And it's beautiful, and mostly it's all the Gold Star parents. Anybody who lost a son or a daughter. And it's healing. It's helpful. Because when my son died, there was 2,000 people here in Philadelphia with the military at the cathedral. But nobody, nobody came up to me that buried a child. And I was going out of my mind, Ed. I was like, this is crazy. I couldn't get out the door. I'd start crying. I'd get angry, and then all this other stuff. And then I talked to another dad from a Gold Star dad. And he said, does this happen? That happen? I'm like, yeah, you too? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, God, good. He was crying, too, you know what I mean? And I was happy to hear how sad he was, Ed. And I said, we got to do something. And I said, let's get somewhere. We'll bring these people in, and we'll all talk and share your experience, strength, and hope. And that's what Michael Strange Foundation does.
How often do you get to do that?
We only do one a year because it's expensive. It's the plane tickets, the hotel, but you can't ask the parents that just buried a kid or lost a son or a daughter. We had Bob Huff at our last one. His daughter was the first girl killed in Iraq. It was 10 years for him. He says after 10 years it gets a little bit easier. And then he started crying his eyes out, and he goes, then you still cry every day. It never leaves you.
Well, I'll tell you,
and we change emails and phone numbers, and we talk, and we reach out to each other. And this year I might do 2. Yeah, I might do 2 this year. Right? It all depends on the funding. We're 501c3. If anybody wants to help us out, we got PayPal. You can tax right off, and we got SEAL Team 6 shirts we sell on the website, and. You'll see the people from all over the country.
Well, I'll tell you this. As soon as you started talking about the MichaelStrangeFoundation.org, you sound so much better, man. So much more positive, So I would encourage you, man. To God bless you, man. Keep that going, and people can support this by going to MichaelStrangeFoundation.org. And you guys, listeners, you heard how the guy pepped up there when he started talking about this therapy that they're doing and these sessions they're having together. They need your support to keep that going. Charles Strange is not the only one going through this. There's tons of families, and any support you can give to this foundation is helping all of these families, not just the guests on our show today. Charles, thank you so much for coming on. Okay?
Hey, thank you. And we can't thank you enough, and we appreciate it. The wife's here. She's the one to take over. She's the one that cracked the CD they gave us with the booklet with no pages, and she figured out how to download the 1,364 pages. Thank you, and God bless.
Oh, thank you.
Hello.
Hi, Mrs. Strange.
Hi, Ed. How are you?
What's your first name?
Mary.
Mary Strange. Okay. I tell you what, we're going to take a little commercial break, but before we do, why don't you tell us about yourself? Who is Mary Strange? Tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm a born Philly girl. I am mother of I have two kids, a boy and a girl, and then I have 4 stepkids with child. I am a good woman. I am, I have a wonderful husband. I love life. I love having fun. I worked in sales. I'm a people person, most definitely. And I do a lot with the foundation, with the stepmothers. So we can maybe find our role on how we, the part that we play in the whole, realm of everything. And,
Okay,
yeah.
Mary Strange, right? You said his name was Mary, right?
Yeah.
I got to tell you something. There's something about the women in Pennsylvania, and Philly especially. I think the most beautiful women in this country are in Pennsylvania. First of all, the state of Pennsylvania, but then in Philadelphia especially. And I'm not kidding you at all. Whenever I'm online on Facebook or something like that, or I'm on these dating sites, and you see a really pretty girl, they're always from Pennsylvania. I got to move there one day. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think there's many, many beautiful women in Philadelphia.
She's hot, blonde hair, blue eyes. She's hot, ass, blonde hair, blue eyes.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, I'm like 5'8", blonde hair, blue eyes, just all American. I love my country, I love being an American woman. I'm very proud of that. I know if I was born anywhere else, they probably would have killed me at a young age for being outspoken and a big mouth, and they probably would have stoned me to death years ago.
It must be a full-time job living with Charles, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but we make a good duo. We're both very strong-minded, strong-willed people, who have a thing for wanting to help people, even before all this. For some reason, people just come up and start telling us their problems and, what's going on in their lives. And, I guess we just have that aura about us or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm definitely the same way. Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. Okay, it's 6 minutes long, so just I'll mute up your microphone, and when we come back, I'll give you a little introduction there. We'll be right back with more of Mrs. Charles Strange, Mary Strange, who's the stepmother of Michael Strange of the MichaelStrangeFoundation.org. We'll be right back after these messages.
All right.
And now a word from our sponsors. Pacific West Bamboo, your premier source for sustainable building material. They provide construction-grade and craft-grade bamboo material for all your indoor, outdoor, and gardening needs. Contact them for event planning and display building as well. 503-839-8126. Or you go to their new website, pacificwestbamboo.com. Or you can contact them on Facebook at Pacific West Bamboo. That's 503-839-8126. Amanda from Pacific West Bamboo was our first sponsor. She's been so good to us, so please support her in return. I want to make everybody aware of our new members section at www.oppermanreport.com. You can go there and sign up for a monthly, quarterly, or yearly subscription. You can even purchase episodes one by one. You get full access to brand new original content, new guests, new uncensored interviews, my own investigations and reports, and we're going to be adding sections with documents, images, police reports, either provided by myself or by my guests, or for my own investigations, my own reports. So you can go to OppermanReport.com and you can sign up there tonight. You can start listening tonight. Strawman. I want to mention Strawman. Strawman is a band out of Toronto, Canada. They're good friends of the Opperman Report. They're a trio of guys who share the same mindset most of us here do, and they put that energy into their words and music. So check them out at strawmanmusic.com and drop them a line to let them know that you heard them here on the Opperman Report. We'll be doing an interview with Sean Duffy soon. You can get an autographed copy of my book, How to Succeed as a Private Investigator, by visiting my PI website, emailrevealer.com. We also offer a computer and cell phone forensics. We can recover deleted text messages to uncover infidelity. We offer asset searches, locates, email tracing, background reports, and we can even trace your spouse's email address back to internet dating websites to catch them cheating online. You can reach us at 800-572-9762, or you can email me at emailrevealer@aol.com. New World Mexican Women. Everyone loves the New World Mexican Women, and their line of fine, handcrafted, authentic Mexican jewelry of stone mosaic and abalone stone inlay. In their first book, titled New World Mexican Women, available on lulu.com, they teach you how to make this jewelry, and they have a collection of love letters to their men from their hometown that have immigrated to the United States to find work. They have also published a new book entitled Azuquina to the Rodeo. It's about a young girl that falls in love with a rodeo bull rider, and she runs away with him without telling her family. You can find the New World Mexican Women by Googling New World Mexican Women. And you can ask them about their deals on wholesaling their fine jewelry and all of the other projects that they have going on. If you'd like to have your business or website advertised here and promoted all over the world on dozens of stations every day, give us a call at 800-572-9762 or email oppermanreport@gmail.com. And now back to our show. Well, not so soon. First, we're going to talk about MichiganMushrooms.net. They offer the highest quality chaga chunks available anywhere, picked fresh from healthy live trees in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, sun-dried and quickly shipped to you. They're very proud of their long-standing reputation as trusted farmers and collectors of wild, gourmet, and medicinal mushrooms. Customer service and offering high-quality products is very important to them. And they have a strict grading system that begins in the woods, and they would rather pass up a chunk that looks bad instead of passing it off to you, the customer. Additionally, they are recognized by the state of Michigan as mushroom experts. They are certified by the Department of Agriculture to sell 20 different species of mushrooms, and proof of this certification is available upon request. That is MichiganMushrooms.net or on Facebook, Michigan Mushrooms LLC. Got a brand new sponsor, The Rodeo of Doom by Miguel La Sala. The year is 2384, and Henry Fields is a down-on-his-luck adjunct professor in the architecture department at Andreas Tangen University in Los Angeles. But he has one thing going for him that others don't. He has enough of the coveted EP14 to live to be 200, if he wants to. Not that hard. When he saves a woman for certain death with a few drops of the EP14, a corrupt government agency tries to blackmail him into selling off his supply. Just when it seems like it might be a good idea, all hell breaks loose. The Rodeo of Doom was written by Miguel La Sala and edited by Margaret A. Harrell, the author of Keep This Quiet, memoir series. Now, she was also the copy edited Hunter S. Thompson's breakthrough book, Hell's Angels. According to Harrell, the Rodeo of Doom will grip you and pull you into the wild ride of a different reality. This is a consciously fast-paced journey into the future. Author Miguel La Sala reveals his craft by intricately weaving in fine details for his reader and keeps you anxiously anticipating what will happen next. Do not wait to read this book. There will surely be more to come from this author. The Rodeo of Doom is available on Amazon.com, and there's a link to The Rodeo of Doom in the Opperman Report bookstore. Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman, and we are here with Mary Strange. She's the wife of Charles Strange and the stepmother of Michael Strange, who was the young soldier who died. He was with SEAL Team 6 in this helicopter in Afghanistan on Extortion 17, and it was some kind of an ambush, a setup, and they were shot out of the sky. Mary, are you there?
Yes, I'm right here.
Okay, Mary, give me a little background. How old was Michael when you first started dating Charles? How old was Michael when you first met him?
He was 16, I think.
16, okay. So
Yeah.
Then he was a huge part of your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, until he went into the military and went, over Hawaii, when he was stationed over in Hawaii, and, we didn't get to see him often then.
Right, but in those young age, learning how to drive, not coming home on time, all that kind of stuff. You had to deal with Michael under those kind of things, right?
Right, yeah.
His first girlfriend,
yeah.
All that kind of stuff.
Yes, yeah.
Well,
yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun and adventure, that's for sure, It always is when you're raising kids, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, when Michael was off in Afghanistan and he was doing these missions and stuff and coming back and telling your husband, Charles, this inside stuff, was he also confiding in you?
No. Michael really didn't talk a lot about his missions, until the very last time when he came home was really the first time he ever talked about a mission. Right. Charlie just reminded me, I'm lying. April of 2011, April 15th, it was tax day of 2011. Michael called and he said, look, you're not going to be able to contact me. All communications are going to be off, but you're going to know why.
Right.
And then 2 weeks later was the bin Laden raid, and then when he came home in June of 2011, after the bin Laden raid, he was home for his birthday, his 25th birthday. And that's when he grabbed Charles 3 times by the bicep and said, Dad, look, I have a will. And, Michael never spoke like that, ever. The whole time he was in the military, never spoke of a will. It was the, something we just, it's not something that a child should be talking to their parents about.
Right.
He was talking about it. And then when he said right out in our living room, you won't believe what's going on in this country. And that was, he didn't elaborate any further on it, nothing. And we were like, what do you mean? And he just said, it's just crazy,
And was he disgusted? Was he scared? Was he nervous?
I'm sorry?
Was he disgusted by what he was saying to you, or was he scared, nervous? What was his demeanor?
It seemed a combination of shock, disgust, and a little nervous. Yeah, when he came home, before he even talked to, said that, you could just tell he was different. He just wasn't his normal self. And for the first time ever, the whole time he was in the military, and when he would come home, on leave, he never left early. In fact, he would wait till the last, until he had to leave. And it was the first time ever that he actually left early to go back to Virginia.
Okay, now he was saying to you that he had a will. Did you get possession of that will?
No.
So you don't even...
Nope.
You never got the will?
Nope.
So there could have been other things besides financial holdings in that will. There could have been letters. There could have been documents. There could have been videos. But you never got it. How come?
Well, I don't know why. I don't know why they held back on it, on showing it to us. You know, I don't know. They said, oh, no, he didn't have a will. And, I mean, 3 times he said to his father about his will, and he broke it down. Dad, I'm giving you blah, blah. Mom's going to get that. And Charles and Caitlin are getting blocked, you know, so-and-so. And then Carly, his half-sister, he said, Dad, you're going to take care of Carly. And, you know, he was going to leave money for Carly, but Charles was to distribute it to her or we were going to put it in a college account for her, you know. But, you know, I don't know. And let me tell you, we researched and we looked in and we tried to find that will. And they said, oh, no, he had no will. Now, let me tell you, we talked to all the parents, and so many of them men that died with Michael upped their insurance policies. You know, they updated their wills. A lot of them bought more insurance, more life insurance, believe it or not. And, you know, we found out a lot. Now, why would he tell us this if he didn't have a will? Michael was the type of kid who he wouldn't tell you something like that if he didn't have it. He just would never do that.
Let me ask you a question. Where was he living when he prepared this will? Do you have any idea of where he was when he prepared the will?
No, we do not. No.
What
I would assume, personally, like, you know, we thought probably Virginia Beach. He was with sex for almost 4 years. And you know, that's East Coast based. And, you know, so Michael did live in Virginia Beach. Why he would make out this will when he lived in Hawaii, you know, and never talk about it before the child. It just, none of it made sense. And let me tell you, we really, you know, we talked to different admirals and generals, and of course, you know, oh, no, he don't have one. He don't have, it's just,
okay, Mary,
in my opinion, a bunch of BS.
But now he did purchase a home in Virginia, right?
Yes.
Now, when he purchased that home, did he use an attorney to purchase that, to do the paperwork for him on the home, to do the closing like they do on the East Coast?
See, the military is different than you know, civilian life. So I'm not really sure.
So if
I'm not really sure.
So he could have had a military attorney. The military might have provided the attorney for him to write up the will for him.
Right, a JAG.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
right,
they're called JAGs. The military attorneys are called JAGs. And, you know, we had people look into it for us, and they came back, oh, no, he never had a will. No, everybody's saying he doesn't. He never had one, which, why would it disappear? Why would he come out and say that? That just, and the way he was acting, you know, he just wasn't himself, like he was nervous about something, and, you know, you could tell he just was very on edge. And, you know, so not that part never made any sense to me.
Okay, so let me ask you now. Okay, now, you and Charles, you're in Philadelphia, you get news, you get first word that something happened, that Michael's been in a tragic accident, a death.
Here's the crazy thing. August 6, 2011 was on a Saturday.
Okay.
And I was heading to work. I was going into work on Saturday. And that morning, while I was getting ready for work, after I got out of the shower, I put the news on, and I had seen on the news about this crash in Afghanistan with 30 special ops and da-da-da-da-da. 30 Americans, 30 Americans. And I thought, oh my God, that's so sad. Shoot up a prayer for the men and their families, and go about my life and get ready for work. And I'm on 95. And that's like a major highway that goes all the way from, I don't know where from, but it goes all the way down to Florida, all along the East Coast.
Yeah.
And I get a phone call from my sister-in-law. She says, Mayor, I said, hey, Mag, what's up? It's Charlie's only sister, his only sibling. I said, how you doing? She goes, where you at? I said, I'm headed to work. She goes, where's my brother? I said, oh, he was home, probably still sleeping. He's sleeping in today. She goes, get home now. And I'm thinking, wait a second, she just asked me, where he was, so I know nothing's wrong with Charlie. Like, I'm thinking, what the hell's going on? I said, Maggie, what do you mean get home now? She goes, Mary, get home now. It's Michael. And I said, what? Like, now I'm confused. My brain is starting to panic, and I'm like, what do you mean get home now? And it's Michael. Like, it wasn't computing for some reason. And I said, what do you mean, Maggie? She goes, something happened to Michael, and it's bad. And I was in the far right lane. I literally bolted across the lanes. I went down the grass embankment and flew up on the other side going southbound. And, I was only one exit away from the house, thank God. And when I was pulling in to our lot, I heard this sound, and it was just this unbelievably, it's a sound I can't even describe. You knew something was in pain, and I pull up. We live in a complex. And I pull up out front, and I realized that sound was coming out of our place. And I think I almost ran into the door. I forgot to put it in park. Oh, no. I threw it in park, and I ran in the door. And my son was here at the time. He was staying with us for a short time, and I thank God for that. And they're both on the floor. And my son is holding Charlie, hugging him. And the sound coming out of Charlie was just, oh my God. And my son's looking at me like, Mom, I don't know what to do, this lost look in his eyes. Yeah. And child turned around, and he seen me, and I just ran over, and I knew then that Michael was gone, because Maggie wouldn't tell me on 95. But she just said it was bad, so I'm thinking maybe it didn't register. Maybe that plane crash and Michael, you know what I mean? Like my mind's going a mile a minute. I'm freaking out in my head, but trying to stay calm because I'm on the road, and he was just screaming, "Mary, Michael's dead! Michael's dead!"
Now, how did he find out? The military called the house, or did they show up at the door?
Nope. They never even came here.
Really?
Caitlin called my husband. Caitlin is my stepdaughter. That's, Right. And she said, Daddy, Michael's dead. Michael's dead.
How did she know?
And because they went to Michael's mother's house and knocked on her door.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
And why they never came here, don't know.
Now, were you guys suspicious right away? Like, when did you start getting an uneasy feeling, hey, something's not right, something's being covered up?
I did about the third day.
Oh, really? How come?
Yeah, because, for a long time I've had my eyes open, as to what the government can do and what they're capable of doing.
Okay.
And, I ran with a rough crowd when I was younger. I was a real tomboy, and being from Philly, we have, it's a city and neighborhood. So and I ran with a rough crowd for a short time, and I've seen some of what the government could do. Like I ran with a lot of bikers. Like I was always loved motorcycles. So I knew what the government was capable of doing. I'd seen it firsthand.
Oh, yeah, I'm from Staten Island. I know what you're talking about.
Right.
I was in the nightclub business in Manhattan.
So, about the third day, we get over to Michael's mother's, and, there's 4 military guys standing there. And Charlie runs up to him and goes, what's going on? And they said, sir, we're sorry to inform you, but your son has been killed in action. And, Charlie's screaming, are you sure?
Mm.
Are you sure it's my son? And, they're saying, sir, yes, we're sure. And he goes, how do you know? It was just so sad.
Right, I can imagine.
And, so we're, Charles asking them questions, and they're like, we don't know yet. We're not sure, sir. We're waiting for information. We're waiting for some information to come in. We're not, well, what happened? Well, we're not sure. There was a plane crash. Well, what happened? Sir, we can't answer that. The whole thing. And you know what? Them guys, they really, they didn't know what the hell was going on. They're sent out there, and they're not sure. I really don't think that they really even knew yet. And
let me ask you this. Now, one of the things that I'm curious about, because we're running out of time, is in Afghanistan there was something called a ramp ceremony.
Oh, my God, with the Imam, yeah. Yeah,
can you describe that? And first of all, how did you find out about that, and what went on there with this ramp ceremony?
Well, somebody released it to one of the parents, the information about the ramp ceremony.
Okay.
And we never knew that they were supposed to provide the parents a DVD of the ramp ceremony.
Right.
We didn't know any of this, you know what I mean? We had no idea about a lot of stuff. And somebody had taken a video while they were in Afghanistan, and they were at that ramp ceremony. And they were furious as to what General Allen was allowing to go on, because this Imam, and I have his name somewhere in my paperwork, he actually has spoken his native tongue and damning our soldiers to hell, that there were the infidels, and that the Afghans are the winners and the Americans are the losers here. It was just, it's so infuriating. After everything that happened to them men, and then to have this Imam stand in our own hangar on our own forward operating base and damn our sons to hell as infidels.
Well, now explain to me, first of all, then this video is available on YouTube now, right?
It is, yes.
Now, it appears to me that it's a professional-looking video. Is it?
It is.
Was it taken professionally? That's a professional videographer that took this film?
This is the guy who is the one that takes the video that is supposed to be given out to the parents.
Right.
of the soldiers that were killed, and he was told to destroy it.
Now, was there ever another circumstance before with other soldiers' deaths overseas where this imam comes in and says this prayer, or is this isolated to this incident?
From what we were told, and we did a lot of asking, with different soldiers and that have been over there while, the ramp ceremonies have taken place, and they said absolutely not. Never, ever, ever was an imam allowed to speak like this. And not our pastors or for our God, Jesus Christ, the pastors or priests or whatever you want to call them, was not allowed to say any prayers.
Now, when this imam was saying this prayer, was this in English or was this in Afghani Arabic?
It was in Afghani Arabic.
Now, how do we know 100% sure that it's being translated correctly and it just isn't just...
Well, because the people who were given this DVD gave it to somebody else, and it went through, I think, 7 or 11 different translators, some of them in the military, some of them out of the military, and it was never associated with the parents of this particular soldier. So their names were never brought up so that it would never, have any connection. And every single translator gave the same exact translation.
Now, the people attending this ceremony, were they able to understand what he said? Or this is
Some of them were.
Some of them were.
Sure.
Some of them were.
Some of them were.
And they didn't become outraged and say, whoa, stop this.
Them men were threatened by Admiral McCraven that if anybody, well, first of all, after Extortion 17 went down, all communications in the forward operating base were shut down for 3 days. No Wi-Fi, no text, no phones, no nothing. All communications were shut down for 3 days. And Admiral McCraven threatened every one of them that if this was ever spoken of, that anything about Extortion 17 came out of any of their mouths, they were facing, I think it was like 75 years in military prison.
And what was the reason behind that?
You tell me.
You say he didn't even give a reason. He says, if you just talk about this, I'll give you 75 years.
He just said it.
Right.
Yep. And Admiral McCraven, mind you, was the one that was that did the Bin Laden raid. He was the one that orchestrated the Bin Laden raid.
Oh, really?
Admiral McCraven, yes.
Okay, that's interesting.
And this is the same admiral that is threatening everybody that you have 75 years in military prison.
Have you two had a chance to sit down and talk to him?
Oh, no. He doesn't want to talk to us.
Have you sent him a letter?
We've requested meetings with Admiral McCraven, and we've never heard anything back.
Okay, now were you there when you met Obama, when Charles was meeting with Obama? You were there too?
Oh, absolutely.
What was your impression? Was Obama an empty suit? Was he out of the loop, or was he in on it and heartless?
I had the worst, I'm a pretty good judge. I'm a very good judge of character, as a matter of fact. I get that from my mother. I just, within the first couple minutes of meeting somebody, I can just feel like if they're evil, if they're good or bad people, I know.
Okay.
And it's crazy, but I just have that intuition. And, when he looked at you, it was like looking into black eyes. He has black eyes, first of all, which my mother always told me black eyes means no soul. And just that, he did not mean anything, he said. Like he told my husband, we will look into this very, very, very deeply, Mr. Strange. Right. And, at the time, my husband, was just it's heartbreaking. And he truly believed Obama. Like, he believed what he said.
Right.
And that was the last time we ever heard anything from Obama. Do I think he first of all, let me tell you, in Dover, on that day, the parents there was a lot, I shouldn't say all parents, there were a lot of the parents that did not want Obama to come to Dover that day. They just didn't want him there because they didn't want their son's death to be a photo op for Mr. President.
Right.
And that's exactly what he did. He didn't care. He didn't care that some of the parents requested he not be there. I wasn't going to stop him. He showed up anyway. But my husband grabbed him and shook him like a bobblehead. When I tell you that's what he looked like, that's truly, my husband is a big man.
Yeah, I saw the video. Yeah,
he's a big guy. And he shook Obama like an absolute bobblehead, it was funny because we thought that the Secret Service were going to attack Charlie right away, like in hindsight. But they actually, it was like a couple seconds before they jumped on Charlie. Like, I kind of think they wanted Charlie to sucker him or something,
Well, maybe he'll get another chance. It's still time. Now, let me ask you a question too. Now, because we have this campaign going on. There's a lot of guys running for president. You two have been contacting everybody. Have you contacted what politicians have you contacted for help trying to get a congressional investigation started?
Well, don't you know about the so-called congressional hearing that we had?
No, what did you have?
Oh, my God. It was a horse and pony show is what it was.
Okay.
It was February 25th of, was it last year? No, it wasn't 15. It was I think it was 2013. If you Google it, it'll come up. Jason Chaffetz.
Okay.
He ran it. And we've been to Washington so many times, me and Charlie, literally knocking, going to Congress, going to the Wayburn building, going to this building, and knocking door to door on every congressman and congresswoman's office and asking if they would come out or allow us to come in and sit down with them for a couple minutes to talk about Extortion 17 and the questions we have. We were there, I think it was probably about 32 times, me and Charles. And a couple other parents and our attorney, Larry Clayman, came a few times. Quite a few times he was there with us. And so we sat down with Daryl Issa and Jason Chaffetz probably 3 times, 4 times. And I'm talking about extensive meetings with them, like for a couple hours at a time.
Okay.
And Daryl Issa, seemed to really care about what happened. And we showed him, this picture of Michael with the autopsy photo. And Michael was not burnt. Like, we could have had the open casket. Why did they cremate Michael? And Issa seemed to be genuinely upset about that, but of course when it came down the bottom line hit, he had no part of our quote-unquote congressional hearing. And then the horse and pony show that they did with this congressional hearing, first of all, it was supposed to be some of the parents could speak, and it rounded up, none of the parents could speak, and my husband, they wouldn't even let, first it was, okay, Mr. Strange will be able to speak. Then it was, no, Mr. Strange won't be able to speak because some of the other parents can. And then it was, none of the parents can speak. And, it was horrible. It was horrible. Jason Chaffetz ran it, and, It was 4 people from the mortuary affairs that they had as witnesses. 3 of them weren't even in Dover or a part of the mortuary affairs in 2011. They had Gary Reed, who was Chuck Hagel's right-hand man. He lied through his teeth, as he always does. And it was just, it was a horse and pony show. We got no answers. It was horrible.
What was the focus of this investigation, of these hearings? Was it to find out what really happened in this crash? Or what was the focus?
It was to get us answers. I think it was 22 of the 30 parents sent questions in. They sent in questions. And do you know what got answered? Nothing. Nothing got answered. Gary Reed said, we gave an explanation for the 7 Afghans that switched out at the last minute. No, Gary Reed lied through his teeth. He lied about the black box. It was horrible to even sit there through it. We wanted answers to who were the 7 Afghans that switched out. Where's the black box or any kind of recording device? Because Boeing on all their planes has to have some kind of flight of recording data, a voice data recorder or something. There's 3 different kinds that, besides the black box, that have to be on. 2 of the 3 have to be on their planes. So we wanted some answers from that. Who were the 7 Afghans? Why cremate Michael? What was the real reason that SEAL Team 6 was sent out that night? Because first it was the Rangers needed help. They were pinned down. The Rangers came straight out and said, we needed no help. We had everything under control. So there was never any answer as to the real, true reason why the men were sent out that evening. They sent 7. They're saying because we had to go after Quarry Tahir. There was already 42 or 48 Rangers on the ground that evening, or that day after Quarry Tahir. And then it was 42 because with our 30 men, it came to 72 boots on the ground for 1 man. And he wasn't even a high-value target. He was like a jack of spades in the mix. It wasn't like he was like a king or an ace of spades. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, let me ask you a question. What is your conclusion then? Do you think this was a setup?
Absolutely. Without a doubt in my mind.
So they wanted to kill everybody on that. The U.S. government wanted to kill everybody on that helicopter.
What do I believe was the reason?
Yeah.
I believe, and I said this from day 3, I think it was tit for tat. We will give you Bin Laden, or, whether it was Bin Laden or if it wasn't, we'll never know. But we'll give you Bin Laden, but we want the team that takes him out.
Oh, really?
Oh, absolutely. Let me tell you, 20 minutes after Extortion 17 went down, there were two Taliban on the internet who gave their names saying they just killed SEAL Team 6. How did they know who was on board there? How did Karzai know? Because he was the very first one to announce it. He told our government that they were dead. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of questions here. So do I believe? And I said from day 3, that's what I believe.
Okay, now, since this time, you and your husband, you're coming under harassment and surveillance and stuff like that. What can you tell us about that?
Well, because Michael worked for the NSA, he was a cryptologist, and because we're asking questions and we're poking at the beehive, and the closer we get, the more that they're coming after us. You know, we've been, first of all, when I downloaded that disk we come to find out was encrypted with a virus.
Okay.
And it sent all of our information to a satellite. That's how they rounded up taking my picture off of our computer, or put it onto our computer, because I was on the computer, I was on the desktop. Our desktop has no webcam. I don't want one in here. They can watch us in here. You know, I told Chow all about that. And so we had no webcam on there, and on our laptop, I covered up the eye with a piece of electrical tape.
Okay.
And so I'm on the desktop, and I'm looking into some stuff, you know, doing some research on different things with the investigation. And all of a sudden, my screen completely freezes, and there is my real-time picture. And I'm looking, and I'm like, oh, my God. And I'm looking through the clothes that I have on. I'm like, this is an actual real-time picture. And I'm screaming, no, Chuck, come here. And it was saying I was facing 7 to 12 years in prison because I was trying to access some copyrighted material, like some kind of BS. Which was the furthest thing that I was even doing. And then we called our IT guy, and he said, well, remember I told you that your disk was encrypted with a virus? He said what they did was they sent a little ping from the satellite to your computer, and that's how your picture got taken. And then, you know, we've been... in Virginia, we were told, you know, by this guy who works for the NSA, and he said, you know, I can be talking to you and be looking at my phone, and I may be reading all the text messages from your phone. Yeah. Because it doesn't matter how far you are. He said, I got this little app in here that I can access your phone, and I can hear all your messages. I can hear your conversations. I can read your text message. And I'm looking at him. I'm like, why are you telling me this? Is this a threat? And he just walked away. And then Charlie had that happen to him another time. And then, you know, in the beginning we were threatened. We had a bunch of brass come up here at 10 o'clock at night. You know, we were selling shirts that said SEAL Team 6.
Right.
And they started, like, panicking, and they came up. They drove from Virginia. 10 o'clock at night they got here and said, you can't sell them shirts. What? You can't sell them shirts. You know, you'll make yourself a target. No, you guys are talking. The most powerful man in the world's talking about SEAL Team 6. Our Vice President, our Secretary of Defense. Why can't we talk about? Why can't we wear shirts?
Well,
these are getting death threats from Al Qaeda and the Taliban and you know. I said, well, you can provide protection for us. Oh no, man, we can't do that. Why would you come up here at 10 o'clock at night and tell us this? Get out of here. And there's been a couple different other instances, you know, of being followed, just all kind of crazy shit.
What's your language? Now, the thing is, too...
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Now, you said that these brass showed up. What was their rank?
3 and 4 star admirals and generals.
Yeah, to come tell you to stop selling T-shirts.
Yeah, that's what they said anyway.
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you filed some FIRE requests, Freedom of Information Act request. What are you trying to get, and what's going on with that?
Well, we would like to be able to read the 1,364 pages without all that redactions.
Gotcha. Okay.
We are also going, you know, we're standing up to the NSA We're tired of being followed and harassed. And one other thing, they tap into our phones, send crazy text messages. In fact, the other day, Michael's old girlfriend just got an email from Michael. So it's playing head games with my husband.
Oh, really?
A year after Michael died, we've received an email from him, from his email address anyway.
What did it say?
It was just, it was weird. It didn't say anything, but it was a map of something. And my husband, both times, is like, man, maybe Michael's still alive.
Right.
And unfortunately, I'm the one that's got to tell him, babe, you know that. You know what I mean? And that angers me. But, so we're going against the NSA to stop the harassment, to stop the head games, just to stop all of it. And we won twice against them, even Judge Leon, he agreed that it was unconstitutional what they're doing to us. There's no reason for it. We just want to know what happened to Michael and them men. And we got to go through this? I don't think that's called for. And obviously Judge Leon agrees with us.
So are you still in court now? When's the next court date?
Well, we won in circuit court. We won in superior court. There has been no set date yet again, and we're going probably to the Supreme Court next because there's nowhere else to go, So we're waiting to hear, when the next date will be. But it's funny because we have Larry Klayman as our attorney, and the government sends in 12, 15 attorneys against Larry. It's crazy, and like the last time Judge Leon said, to the government, he said, because we wanted the NSA to stop being able to access people's computers and phones. It's not right. What they're doing to us and everyone else.
I got a couple questions for you.
Huh?
I have a couple questions. First of all, who's funding this litigation for you? Is Larry Klayman doing this for free?
Well, we haven't put a penny out of our pocket yet.
Okay, good. And when he sends you a bill, just send it to the NSA, right?
Absolutely.
Now, on the other side, what is their position? And what is the government saying why that they don't have to turn over this unredacted data and the harassment stuff? What is their position? What are they saying in court?
They're not saying anything. Judge Leon gave them a deadline to hand over some documents, and it went probably 4 months past the deadline, and Larry said, look, Your Honor, they haven't handed anything over, so that we went back to court again, and, right before we went in, they handed over a couple lame documents,
right.
And Judge Leon kind of reamed them and said, look, I told you, I gave you a deadline, and you're basically, making a mockery of me on my own court. And, they're fighting, as far as with the NSA, saying that the reason that they should be able to go into computers and phones is to stop terrorist attacks. And Judge Leon said, well, show me one instance that it stopped a terrorist attack. And they couldn't give one. They could not give one instance of them accessing the American people's, calls and computers. They couldn't give one instance of stopping a terrorist attack.
Well, let me ask you the question. Now, do they acknowledge that they're tapping into your phones and your computers, your personal, you and Charles?
They're just, they're making it a general thing. Now, I don't believe that they've ever come right out and said, yes, we did to them, the strangers.
Right.
But they just generalize it as the American people.
Okay.
But Judge Leon, we have proof. Our IT guy is ranked one of the top 50 in the world for computers. He's our number one star witness. And, when he went into our computer after I downloaded that disk, he said, oh, my God, the virus that's in your computer is not even out yet. And he showed us there was like 12 numbers .gov, 15 numbers .nsa, another set of numbers .cia. Like, he has that proof. So, they can't say that they didn't access our information.
Gotcha. And just to back this up and clarify, when you guys went to one of these presentations from the government, they handed you a big book with all this evidence in it, but there was no print. The print there was no ink, so it was all faint. But luckily, they gave you a disc inside the book too, which of course you went home, you popped the disc in, and the next thing you know, they they inserted a keylogger on your computer there.
Oh, it wasn't a keylogger. It was this virus. Now, like I said, our guys in Viking were like top 50 in the world.
Right.
I mean, this guy's unbelievable. He used to work for the NSA. And he said the virus they have in here is not even being seen yet out there. But he was able to figure it out. It was just... They're just unbelievable, some of the stuff that they do and say, and just...
Okay, Mary, we're getting down to like the last 4 minutes. Is there anything that I've left out that I haven't asked you guys, or that you want to bring out to the public? You want the public to know?
Well, me and my husband were cordial. I don't know if Charlie told you that just him and I, out of all the parents, were invited to the Pentagon.
No, go ahead.
With Gary Reed, that was last year. And he lied to our faces once again. I think we pretty much covered everything. If anyone who's listening could just, contact Trey Gowdy or Mr. John, Congressman Micah from Florida. These guys know something happened with Extortion 17, or even contact their own congressmen or senators or state reps or somebody and help us get a real congressional hearing for this.
Yeah, and
them men deserve this.
Yeah, and right now, if your congressman happens to be running for president, or you can contact those offices. They're very cooperative this time of year when they're running for office. When people call up their offices, not like the rest of the year. Right after the election, they don't want to hear from you. Okay, with Mary Strange, the wife of Charles Strange, the parents of Michael Strange of the MichaelStrangeFoundation.org. Also, they run this great program for people who like grief counseling kind of thing, where they get together with all parents of lost their kids in the military to death. And so you can go to MichaelStrangeFoundation.org. You can donate, or you can hear more about it and keep in contact with them and encourage them. I'm sure you like that as well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. There's really nothing out there for the moms, dads, brothers, and sisters of servicemen and women that have been killed in protecting our country. When me and Charlie asked for a grief counseling, they sent us to a marriage counselor. They had no idea what to do with us, and so our foundation, we pay for everything. Like I tell the parents and siblings, just pack your suitcases. We make all the travel arrangements. We pay for all of it because they've already paid the ultimate price.
Now, what about that big organization, Wounded Warriors? You see their commercials every 5 minutes. Have they been any help to you? Do they help you out?
No.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I hate to say that.
No.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah. But, we're a small foundation. We'd like to be bigger. There's over 7,000 killed in these 2 wars. We want to help so many people. And, just parents alone is over 14,000 just parents in our country that are in pain every day because they miss their son or daughter. And we're just trying to help them. Like we just, it was a horrific situation, a horrible tragedy that happened, and we're just trying to find some healing in helping other people. There's no closure, yet of what happened, but to try to get some healing somehow by, reaching out to other parents and siblings is the way that we're trying to heal a little bit from this.
And that's the MichaelStrangeFoundation.org. Mary, we're out of time, but thank you so much, okay?
Thank you so much for taking the time to have us on here. And God bless you and God bless America.
God bless you, too. Good night. Okay, there you had it. Mary Strange, the wife of Michael, the stepmother of Michael Strange, and the husband of Charlie Strange. Everybody reboot. I'll be starting Reboot Spreaker because I'll be starting Goodnight Awake and PSN. I'll be rebooting Spreaker, and we'll be doing an after show right now. Thank you.